Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to have all of you join us for a discussion on an interesting topic today: how to balance the demand between cloud collaboration and data security, especially in heavily regulated industries and scenarios where regulatory requirements dictate how much data can flow, where it can flow, etc. Sort of like having your cake and eating it as well. Joining me today are three distinguished panelists who will share perspectives on this topic. Our first panelist is Monil Nacker. Monil is the Director of Identity Access Management at Applied Materials. He is an expert in the security world. He has tremendous experience in both providing vision and implementation to all fields of IT and security, including access and identity management, data governance, BI, IoT, and others. Welcome, Monil. Our second panelist is Rob Oden. Rob is an experienced cybersecurity architect who's currently the senior manager in the data protection and investigations team at L3Harris. In this role, he's responsible for policies, processes to protect regulated information and also support internal cyber investigations. Welcome, Rob. And our third panelist today is Evgeny Karam. Evgeny is the VP of Solution Architecture at Harjavik Group and a broad experience in many industries, including regulatory constrained industries. In his role, he designs security solutions for clients for both current and future needs. Evgeny is also a thought leader who runs his very own, very well-respected security podcast on security architecture and aims to help other companies improve their security postures. Welcome, Evgeny. So let me jump right in. I look forward to a great conversation, and I'm going to jump right in and have my first question for you, Monil. Applied Materials operates in, I think, 17 countries and I think 5 out of 6 continents or something. So each of these different jurisdictions must have some regulatory challenges that come with this sort of broad spread. I wanted to sort of understand from your point of view how this international sort of infrastructure for Applied Materials brings its own challenges for regulations and also specifically within data security and rights management and how that might be suitable for some of those uses.
Thanks, Vishal. When you talk about all the countries we operate in, it's actually a lot more, especially where people may stay because of remote work.
Sure.
And take a look at it from that aspect. There's always concerns about GDPR, EU requirements, regulations. Now China with their new privacy rules that they're trying to come up as well, and the implications of all those. The key thing is we always want to be the safest choice, and the safest choice means a lot. And it goes from the idea when we give out these requirements or regulations, we have to be compliant. And where does DRM, I think that's the real question, where does collaboration fall into this?
Sure.
Collaboration is key. We operate in fab industries. What that means is huge fabs. Our suppliers have to communicate to each other. Our customers have to communicate to each other. And communicating in a secure manner is very important. And the idea of DRM is to make sure people have the right access, but it also gives the data, the ownership to the data, to the owner itself. And when you take a look at that, that's the key aspect in all these areas. You can even take any PII, any information, and the owner is actually owned by the data itself who created it. We have lots of regions, lots of requirements over collaboration itself. And if you break it down, and if I was going to break it down in multiple ways, we have to meet the regulations, and the way to protect the data, keep it private, and the people have consent, and cross-mingling or cross-border transfers, all those things. When we think about DRM actually fits in a place where it kind of meets those requirements in a nice way.
Sure.
And when we set up our collaborations sites and everything else, as much as we can, we apply DRM, and especially around export laws. Export laws into China, the controls that we need to have in place, that's exactly where some of these DRM controls are put into place.
Mm-hmm.
And it helps a lot, and it helps, and I wish it was more proliferated, and those are some of the things we're working on as part of it.
I'm wondering, when you say DRM, when the moment you say DRM, my mind kind of blowing about users complaining that do not work because they always need to manipulate documents. So how is your company actually working with this part?
Anytime you add encryption, it adds user inconvenience, right? It's an overhead for performance. You're absolutely right. The users always complain, in my point of view, about some of these things. And one of the things that we wanted to do is to make it seamless. We focused on user experience first. And if you take a look at the way we integrated with technology, and we have a lot of work to do, by the way, it's not anywhere close, because it's always easier to get the document in its native format. And a user will always choose the simplest path possible to get that data to their customers or whatever it is. But the big thing I see in cybersecurity world, or even in our customers are asking for security now. Our customers are asking, our suppliers are asking, hey, let's make sure we're secure. They're putting the mandates on us. They're asking us to do that. So when it comes to now the performance question, it is a performance issue, but we want to make it a native experience as much as possible. So when we use technologies, and I don't know if I'm allowed to use buzzwords here, right? But when we use technologies or systems, we make sure it's a native experience. Like, for example, Seclore is built into that native experience, or whatever DRM is built into that native experience, so the user does less work. It may take longer to read, but it takes less work for them to update, download, view, and do everything else. At the end of the day, the customer and the supplier and the partners that we deal with appreciate it. And that's where I see the performance hindrance or the acceptance going lower. That's what happens in our ecosystem.
Sure.